Hey, it's Dr. Ron here, and today let's talk about pain. Pain is something that we all have to live with from time to time. Some people have chronic types of pain. I know I've had acute issues. Before my hip was replaced, I went through periods of pain. I occasionally get bouts of back pain for my rotate or when I tore my rotator cuff, I had pain. So, you know, I know a little bit about what pain is, in addition to the fact that I've spent much of my career working with headache patients who, for the most part, are in chronic pain, at least the ones who would get to a tertiary care center like Jefferson, where I work. So, I think the critical thing that I want to try to get across is the fact that we cannot let pain define us, or we give pain power over us. And I know it's easier for me to say if I'm sitting here today not in significant pain and somebody else is. I know that's not an easy lesson to take, but I do think that it's important to recognize. For example, in my case, when I've had an acute case of back pain, when that's happened, or when my hip was hurting before I needed it replaced, um, I had the pain, but that wasn't what defined me. It was a part of me, but I also was still a husband, a father, grandfather, a psychologist, an author, lots of other things that define me. And I think that it becomes incumbent upon us when we're uh, dealing with pain to make sure that we're not giving it too much power to the point that that becomes our definition. I like to encourage people, particularly when I work with headache patients, to think in terms of the fact that headache patient itself is probably a misnomer and probably would be best off not being used. I like the term person with headache because you're a person with headache, but you also have other kinds of things that define you, other interests, other kinds of activities, and making the pain out there as a forefront, as kind of your advertisement, is not really good for your own mindset as well as the way that you're perceived by others. So that again, it's a very simple shift of mindset. But I think that if we can pull that off effectively, if we can think of ourselves as being a person who has pain of whatever type it may be, but when you start to think in terms of being a patient, also think in terms of what are the other things that define you. Even if you have to write it down and make a list to force yourself to think in those terms, I think you're going to find that it's going to pay off and that you'll feel not necessarily better, but a lot more in charge of the pain and in charge of your body than would be the case otherwise. Think about it. Look forward to talking with you again. It's been Dr. Ron Kaiser, and please join us at the Mental Health Gym website and join our mailing list. Would like to continue to interact with you in addition to seeing you on social media.